Good morning. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to part 5 of my UK road trip. Today we're looking at my trip around Cambridge. I made my way from Stonehenge to Cambridge and stayed in an Airbnb 2 miles from the centre of the town. I'd never been to Cambridge before, and I was looking forward to seeing the architecture. Cambridge is a compact place, some oldie-worldy streets, some amazing architecture, and the river camp. I didn't actually go in one of the punts on the river camp because I didn't think I would be able to climb in and out easily, and I didn't feel like explaining my predicament. I use a walking stick when out and about these days, and it's got a few valuable issues with it. It lets people know if I wobble or stagger, I'm not inebriated or under the influence. It allows me to stop and take stock. It allows me to adjust any cameras, put on any smart glasses, and when walking through busy areas, people coming towards me can see that I have precedence. So a valuable piece of equipment. I was up early, out from the Airbnb, and drove into town. Right, I'm Brian. Drove deeper and deeper. Thanks for the into town. Stamp.
No worries, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
And then turned off into a multi-storey car park where I could stay all day. Lots of maps on the lampposts. Didn't mean a lot to me at present. I took photos of them because I was going to have to return back to this point at the end of the day. Why commit to memory when you've got a smartphone?
No, it's taking it.
Advertise your store. So, photos of the location and the general
That is so cool.
direction for the town centre. Bear in mind, I was just trying to see the architecture and the river Cam. I set off for the walk and was pleasantly surprised by the oldie world feel almost immediately. The outskirts of the town turned into the town itself. I took lots of still photos with my Meta Smart glasses as I walked along. And this was to produce a guide to Cambridge as a walkabout. I stopped at various locations and took photos. Lots of them were church buildings, but I do like oldie worldy pubs.
Seriously, I'm
some
Brian.
With battlements,
From
Brazil.
Lovely doors.
Brazil.
From Brazil.
I love arches.
How did you get this far?
Yep.
On a plane. Yeah, I've been here for 10 years now.
Right, right.
I love arches
No, it is.
Yes,
It is.
above.
thank you.
And of course sculpture along the roof of lots of buildings. I stopped and talked to a chap who was selling magazines for the homeless. The Big Issue, and he directed me to more architecture and towards the river. Following his directions, I moved on through the town. Arrived at the River Cam at a bridge. To the left looked inaccessible by walking, and to the right there was a path alongside the river. Lots of punts moored up and lots of people trying to sell trips in the punts on the river. I wouldn't be going in the punt, I just wanted to catch them on video. There was a couple of pubs right next to the river for people to stop and just enjoy the scenery. I went live on Facebook and walked along the river, stopped to take in as the punts passed with the visitors on board. And I could hear there was a dialogue from the person pushing the pole as they travelled along. I waited until a second person passed, and it was a very similar dialogue, so a rehearsed piece of dialogue as they passed certain locations on the river. As I looked to my right, there were lots and lots of punts in the distance. It was a busy trade. I continued walking along the footpath. Really enjoyed it, stopping every now and again just to enjoy the scenery. And yes, I did wonder if there was any carp in the river. I was later to find out that yes, there were. After walking a short while, I saw there was a place where the punts would have to stop and move in the other direction. There was a weir and a control. There was some steps leading down to the river, and this was obviously where people would feed the ducks and, knowing carp, feed the carp. It was a very nice cafeteria at this point where I broke my keto diet and ordered a breakfast bap and a cup of tea. I sat at one of the picnic tables opposite a chap who was also having a cuppa. I said good morning and we struck up a conversation. He was then joined by another chap and they were off on their travels. Fossil hunting, I believe. They told me about an alternative route back into town where I would go through older parts of the town and see different sights than just the riverbank. Very interesting, very useful. I'd like to thank these two for the kindness, welcoming the stranger, wondering how they came to be so far from home in the Black Country. I consumed my very welcome breakfast bap, bacon, eggs, fresh tomato, a flat bread and a cup of tea. It was gorgeous. The till operator was very kind, very interested in my travels and my smart classes. I always ask permission before taking a photo of a person. And then when you get permission and you subsequently press a button on the glasses or say, "Hey Meta, take a photo," it sparks intrigue. And I guess they're always surprised that somebody as old and decrepit as me should be tech savvy. Same my goodbyes to the two gentlemen I shared a couple with. Headed off in the suggested direction and entered the town from a different direction.
I showed you this one.
Again stopping and taking photos, quite random, but if you love architecture, then I guess you'll enjoy what you get to see. I'd heard, and it was rightly true, that King's College was with the most impressive architecture, so that would be a place I would head for. On the way, there was a market of craft traders, and I couldn't resist. I went in and ended up buying from 3 stalls. I bought myself a lovely black belt, not in karate, a black leather belt. I'd needed one for a while. I bought some intriguing, but they sound pretty, or ordinary, or even boring, fridge magnets. I'll put photos up and, well, the young lady on the stall was from Brazil, and she complimented me on my moustache. I thanked her, and we struck up a conversation about travelling. Moving on from the market, well, I still had some money left. I walked through the town, and it was becoming really, really busy by now. There were lots of groups of people in snake-like convoys on city tours, following a guide holding a flag. I decided I wouldn't go on a walking tour because I couldn't keep up. It was the most multiracial place I've ever been in, including London. There were people who had obviously come to see the historic places within Cambridge, the architecture, and just the holiday atmosphere. I arrived at King's College and it was beautiful. I just stood in awe. It was just before midday and I decided to treat myself to a steak lunch. There was a restaurant right outside of King's College, overlooking the grandeur. I went in, they found me a seat, a window seat. The staff were ultra kind. I ordered a 14-ounce flat iron steak and, again breaking my keto, I ordered mashed potato. The jug of water with ice cubes was very welcome, and I didn't realise how thirsty I was till I started to drink it. I consumed the jug and asked and was given a second top up, and then my lunch arrived. Wow. Took a photo just from a memory bank. I use photos to relive experiences. Now when I finished my meal, a leisurely meal, and I moved outside back into the town, every pub, every cafe had a massive queue outside. It was lunchtime for all and sundry. So I'd been very lucky choosing the place and the timings when I did. I walked back into town and arrived at the market. And the marketplace was a hotbed of food stalls from all around the globe. I guess if there was a food you really loved, you would find it as a takeaway. Gigantic pans of food en masse, an individual servings, again lots of queues. I treat myself to 4 beautiful apples. Boy, were they good. No, I didn't eat them all at once. But over the next day or so I did consume them. It's given me a love of apples yet again. Now, they're not really keto friendly because they contain so much sugar, but they are a nice treat when you're driving or you're out and about and you want to break the monotony of whatever drink you've taken with you in a flask. I decided after my walk around the market I would finish off my day by getting a taxi back to my car in the multi-storey car park. And then I had to find a taxi rank. I've got a bone to pick with Google Apps. They say things like head south when you don't know which way south is. I wish they would just say head left or head right. Anyway, I'm not going to let that overshadow a fantastic day in Cambridge. Did I walk round in circles? I'm sure I did. I found a taxi rank, a short hop to my car, a trip to a local supermarket to treat myself to a bottle of wine, which I didn't finish, but I enjoyed what I had. I went back to my Airbnb and watched some Olympics before turning in for the night, knowing that the next morning I was travelling home 3 hours from Cambridge to Thornaby. I now put up a number of photos and short videos. They may be in slight random order, but all nice memories. Thanks for watching. Join me again soon.
Yeah, so I gave it. No, I did. All of it. If I told you a story, it's like the craziest night of my life. It's like but then, you know, I really tried.